Hello, welcome to Gloria's Gab Live. Um, I have today as my guest my boss.
My boss. Can you imagine that?
Yeah,
40
no.
years we've been doing this together.
Right, yeah. So he's more like just a friend. But we're going to talk about the holidays, about how we made changes during the pandemic when we had some fewer people in the office. We were able to change things around, and he's filling in. I had someone for my guest that couldn't make it, and so thank you very much for filling in.
My pleasure.
But we have one of these things every morning, and I always think about mornings on horseback when you just like brainstorm with somebody in the morning. So we're the first ones in the office every morning, and we talk
And what
a
time is that,
lot
Gloria?
about 7:30.
Right.
So you're here even earlier than that. So, but we have a good time. But anyway, before we start talking, I have to thank our sponsor, South Florida PBS. They are wonderful. If you're not members, you need to be. But coming up on Saturday, the 27th, that's Thanksgiving weekend, there's a Christmas concert with Sarah Brightman, and you don't want to miss that. So
Where might that
put
be?
that on your on South Florida PBS on their
Perfect.
station. Yeah. So check it out. You can go to southfloridapbs.org. Also, they have another great thing. It's called allhealthtv.com. And they have so many great shows. They have a sex talk with Dr. Leah, talks about everything.
I'm ready to go.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to know? You
I
can
could
ask
read it or watch
questions
it.
about ED. You can ask
Why were you
questions
looking
about.
at me when you said that? Has my wife been talking to you again?
Oh my God. No, they're wait, when you're a member, look what you get. This is so cool. You get every month, you get like a magazine that tells you what's going on. And so that's where I find all this fun stuff that I watch. And one of the things they talk about, we were going to talk about holidays, portion controls.
Oh, great. So
I didn't bring
PBS,
banana nut bread.
you got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can follow them on all those.
That's right. Yeah.
And by the way, I watched one of their videos they did recently, breast cancer for women of color. I thought it was a great
Oh, yeah.
series on that. And prior to that, they did Dr. Zinnan from the Miami Cancer Institute and a couple of other doctors talking from around the country, including some very famous ones, talking about COVID. So my hat's off to them. And
Absolutely. And when they do that, you can any of their shows, when they do those doctor shows, you can call in and ask questions, and it doesn't cost you anything. So it's a pretty good deal. So they call it All Health Go Care, and that's a subscription service. And so check that out too, because you pay a certain amount a month, and you can get all kind of free care.
Can we go back to the sex talk?
Yes. Okay. Oh, this is you like. Okay. Do cold sores mean herpes? That's one of the questions.
So it ain't herpes.
And he has a fat lip, so so you may want to check this Dr. Leah out.
I'll put some Zobarex on it, but it ain't herpes.
Exactly. So so we got Thanksgiving coming up.
A couple days, man. It's amazing.
I know.
Think about it. So this is the first one. I mean, we missed a couple, it seems like, because even 2 years ago, we were thinking about COVID, right? It's hard to imagine. Sure. It's been 2 years. And last year, people were like, when is it going to end? So it looks like it's getting to an end for us here in Miami-Dade County.
For sure.
There's plenty of other stuff, going on in other places. But what a great time. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving. And then the holiday season is about upon us.
Yeah.
And I see that people from out of the country and out of the Northeast are visiting us because the roads at noontime were completely packed, right?
I know.
What is that about?
I don't know. I'm going to the airport a little bit to get the TSA pre-check. Mm-hmm. You have to go in person. I don't have an appointment until Monday, but I'm going to go early because I figure Monday it's going to be nuts at the airport, right?
There is something exciting about it when we think about it.
It is.
We're going, oh, good. That means that people are there and they're excited. Yeah. So let's talk about people's attitude right now. Some polls were recently taken. even though there's a lot of people that are making a lot of money, stock market is good, traveling is way, way, way up, homes are way up, cars are struggling with it, then all that supply chain is going to even out at some point. But there's more people unhappy about the future of the economy today than it was in the middle of the pandemic. It's interesting, which is, well, because gas is $4. Well, gas was $2, but you weren't driving, right?
Exactly. So we didn't care.
Exactly. Didn't matter what it was, right? So, but the big companies, they see the car companies are switching around how they're going to do business. And, you know, if we were fortunate to live through this, right, that it's all going to work out, right? And then in a couple, 6 months from now, we're going to go, this is wonderful, right? And I think for most of us, we're looking forward to be with our families.
Right.
And I've a family member that's coming to town for the first time, meeting everybody all at the same moment.
The
it's going to be outside.
Family
it's extraordinary. I'm feeling like I'm the patriarch of this group. You have to be here, right? So I'm very excited about doing that.
Yeah, no, that's fun. I know when my dad had his 90th birthday, it was like that. And it was like such an enjoyable, it was like a family reunion. Yes. Yeah. So that'll be a fun weekend for you. And it's Hanukkah.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Susan. Yes, it's Hanukkah too.
oh yeah, I forgot.
So
yeah, Hanukkah's coming early this year.
Yes. So let's talk about some things that we experienced here at Community News during the last year and a half. All right. We had people go home, work from home. We also put up some dividers. Why don't you tell people how we divided it?
Yeah, actually, I had a shower curtain around my office workspace area, and I was there were two people on the whole, half of the building, two people.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I felt safer here than any place. I never
really
stopped going to work.
It was really extraordinary.
Yeah.
And when people, if they were sort of close, we had a divider between them.
Oh yeah, we used to have to divide.
Yeah, we had for a year and a half. All right. That was
So,
there, and it was really pretty nifty because you could play footsies with somebody on the other side, and we
oh man,
we only had one case
of people playing footsie, or
our ADD is kicking in.
Yeah, really.
I'm barely containing myself. Right?
We have, we had everybody here, I think, has had at least 2 shots, but most everybody has had 3, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And
because Michael tells us where we get our booster, and all of a sudden we're all there at one time.
It was pretty amazing. I don't know if anybody knew that, but I'm going, this should be interesting. And so we're lucky to be able to do that, and fortunate and very happy. All right. And so the folks know, through the pandemic, we were open every day.
Yeah.
5 days. And when you came in the building, a mask, you had to clean your hands.
Yeah.
We took their temperature. We gave everybody a little sticky that says, I had it today.
And we washed down every surface every morning.
Yes. And so
you
could say it worked.
Obviously.
Yes. And so we're really blessed to be able to do that. So some of the other changes that we did is as we struggle with what does it mean in a workplace where you don't have as many people. Well, we have a couple of people that are working from home, and I go, okay, well, let me see if I got this right. My cell phone is not at the office, the service. Our Google is not at the office. We just have access to it, right? And you have all this other stuff that we really don't house here, but we think that we did. We send work throughout the country to be done that we can't do. We send some stuff overseas, which 10 years ago I thought was terrible, but you got to look at it.
What are you going to do? You're going to do what you got to do.
So we realized that is happening across the country. But one of the things that we know that we're missing, that may not be a big part of the future for a lot of companies, is a lot of people working in a place and going to lunch together and around the water fountain. That for us, I think is, right now is not high priority. Before it'd be like everybody could commiserate. I would see go back to work. Now I see that when people are doing it, I'm happy that they're there and that they're having a good time. Right. So my question to you is, what are small companies going to do when they figured out after the last year and a half, we can do this without 10 people, we can do it with 6 people, because the other 4, we have their work done elsewhere.
Well, I think even before the pandemic, we had, I know my son-in-law was working. He only had to go in the office 1 or 2 times a week, and then he was working at home, and he loved it. He still loves it. And but that was a way for them to they offered it to all the employees and who wants it and who doesn't. And a lot of people prefer working from home. But if you have, like, before my husband passed away, he was at home all the time. So for me to work at home was impossible.
Now I know why you came to work at 7:30.
There you go.
And I love John.
Yeah, I know. But when somebody's got a big voice and he's working, and he had a booming voice, you can't both of you work at the same place. Yeah. So so I think a lot of people are in the same position, if you have, but then there were other people. I talked to Newbie Elena last night, and she was telling me that her mom, her dad, her husband, and her all worked in the same, they had a big house, all in the same house. And everybody got a room except she got stuck with the kitchen. And so I go, how do you do that for a year?
I know.
But she managed. Yep. But she said it was awful.
So let's look at the effect of the COVID did, and maybe it was already in the works where healthcare via, I forgot what they call it, right? It was just getting started prior to the pandemic. Actually, the marijuana,
telemedicine?
Actually, the marijuana people were doing it before, and then the state took it away, and then they put it back after this. So what that means is there's going to be less people in the doctor's office, less space that you need, and less cars in the parking lot, because people are going to be able to get the service they want a little bit faster.
Right.
And when we look at McDonald's and Burger King, over 85% of the business is now drive-through. And they built the they built the inside. Is that your friend?
No.
Okay.
You know what? It's president of the Women's Club, and you know where they are?
Where?
They're doing Smart Ride.
Oh.
Which is, hold on. Let's see what she's doing. Go. Hold on.
Tell her we're live right here.
Okay, hold on. Right. Too bad.
Right.
She hung up. No, they're doing the first pit stop, Smart Ride today. Right. Yeah. So I'm sorry.
That's right. I already lost my attention span. It just went away. Thank you, Gloria.
Yeah.
Right. So with the healthcare, meaning there's going to be less parking that's needed because people are going to be doing that at home. And we know that a lot of people put off their healthcare because of COVID. Now, throughout the state, there are only 1,200 or 1,400 people throughout the state that were in hospitals. And so that's very few per hospital. So if you were concerned about it, you can be less concerned today than before. And there were a lot of people that put off their procedures, the stuff they needed to get done. Yeah, remember, it's the calendar years and ends at December 31st. Yeah. So this is the time. Get in now.
That's why, everything is packed.
Yes.
Every place I go. And for my cataract surgery, I had to wait 2 or 3 months to get an evaluation and then schedule the surgery.
Yeah, so that whole arena is pretty busy. And by the way, my hat's off to healthcare providers who for 2 years were subjected to hundreds of people a day, all right?
Yeah.
And then you think about the nurses and doctors on the floors and everybody else, right? They were there with people that they knew had COVID. And think about the dentists.
Oh, yeah.
They're there for 10 minutes to 2 hours.
Right in their mouth.
Yes. Lawrence Lesperance, dentist, all right? Right off of US 1 in Lejeune, he's my guy, all right? So, and when you think about the hygienists that are there and the protection, now I don't know about your hearing, but so
they had, oh yeah.
So this is great. I'm there, and so she has a mask over like this, then she has a thing like this, all right? And I have a mask, and she's talking to me.
You can't hear.
And I can't hear. And I'm going, I figured she's either asked me to open my mouth or turn to the right or left. So I turned to the left. She said, no, the other left. I go, okay, right? And so one of the things we've learned to do is to be able to be a little bit more open with people, right? Because people still wearing masks. I was with somebody the other night at a busy table, busy restaurant. I can't hear anything. I said, I just can't hear you. I gave up, tried to hear it and hearing every third word.
I can recommend an ENT to you.
What?
Ear, nose, and throat guy.
All right, so.
Oh my gosh!
So let's
no, that's a problem. I have hearing. And part of the hearing thing is that you get by without hearing as well when you can read somebody's lips. But if you can't read their lips.
So one of the things Doc told me, Michael, you have to be really careful on your hearing, because what happens is you'll isolate yourself because you can't hear it, so you're not part of the conversation.
Exactly.
All right. And so how many times do you have to say, what'd you say? What'd you say? And it's like, if I have to say it more than one time, I'm not saying it again.
Or you pretend you heard it. And then God only knows what it was.
Yeah, Gloria, you're figuring it out now.
Yeah, I know.
That's how the morning goes.
Finally, my daughters convinced me I needed to go to an ENT guy. So apparently I told them for like deep voices like yours, I have good hearing for a lot of stuff. But then, maybe different decibel levels or whatever that are, and background noises, that's when I have a problem.
So let's talk about the work that you've been doing in Miami-Dade County for 40 years.
Yeah,
maybe more.
A long time.
When I first met Gloria, I met her in the parking lot right outside a few feet from here. And you had a little baby in your arms. And I saw her the other day. And I said, what is that, about 30 years ago? I looked at it and said, no, it's more than that.
I know, it's a lot more than that.
And so you've been involved in helping charities.
So who's doing this interview? I knew this was going to happen.
What has motivated you for decades to do that?
I think I got involved in the General Federation of Women's Club has, like clubs all over. And when I was pregnant with Christina, the baby I had in my arms, I was in St. Petersburg, and I was in a Lamaze class, and one of the girls in the Lamaze class said, why don't you go join the St. Pete Junior Women's Club? And I go, sure, sounds good. I relatively knew I would move back to St. Pete from Miami. So I joined the club, and I became a big fundraiser, and, as usual, and I love doing it. I guess I'm a natural sales or people person. And so I love doing it. And then when we moved to Miami, I transferred to the Coral Gables Junior Women's Club.
When was that?
And
what year was that, more or less?
I was pregnant with Kathy, who is my youngest, 1978, 79. So that's a long time ago, huh? So yeah, and I danced in cabaret, and I used to come in and I begged for space from your dad and Sam Bennixon, the editor at that time. And
answer the phone. Newspapers.
Yeah, right. And I remember one time we were doing this cabaret show, and I had never danced in a cabaret before, and I didn't care about it.
I think I went to that one downtown.
Yeah, well, downtown, we did some downtown, but when did we do?
Was your husband in one of those shows?
Oh, yeah, he was he was a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. He was a streaker. I got him involved in a lot of stuff. A streaker, yeah. We always had a drag element, There was always something that the guys had to do that made the audience laugh. But I was in a skimpy costume. There were four of us in these skimpy costumes and with headpieces, and they were Las Vegas showgirl type things. And so my girlfriend, Tanya's, comes from very conservative family. Her father-in-law is super conservative. And so I showed Sam a bunch of pictures, and I said, do not use this picture. But I just wanted you to see it, get an idea of what we do. And so seriously, you know how big that paper is? The picture was this big on the front page of the paper. And I'm going, are you kidding me?
Okay, so what I want to know is what motivated you to do it, and why, after all these years, what keeps you doing that?
Oh, well, I did it. Well, first of all, I did that because I found out it was fun. But I just like the challenge of helping people out, and such a feel-good feeling. I mean, I know you do it too. This is one of the most generous people you'll ever meet. And what you do with the paper allows me to do good work too. And that's one of the reasons I love working here, because I'm involved in a lot of nonprofits, and I love giving back to the community. That's just something that, makes you feel good. And if anybody has not gotten involved in a nonprofit and not started doing that charitable stuff, once you do it, it becomes an addiction. And then you guys talked me into, because I started a community foundation, and I worked for the Junior Orange Bowl I worked for them for 5-6 years. And I love festivals, and I still love them. So I never give them up. So I'm still involved in the Junior Orange Bowl. And
you're involved in the Rotary Corps Gibbs Rotary?
And the Rotary Club. And the Rotary Club does their chili cook-off. Love that. Love everything they do. They've eradicated, Rotary International has eradicated polio pretty much worldwide. I mean, there are some cases that pop up, but it's an ongoing struggle to keep people vaccinated. And we do a golf ball drop every year to help fund that out of our district. And then to just do different charitable events. We've done galas, we've done all kind of different things like that. But the Rotary Club's Chili Cook-Off is a fun one. And our community newspapers has had chilies in that one. We had, our last chili was red, white, and blue. And we said, what's red and, no, black and white and red all over? And it was our chili. So we still have the banner. So, it's coming back. We finally got a date, February 27th,
okay.
2022. So we'll let our staff know. We got people that are Millers, one of Miller Myers has promised to volunteer. So we'll have a good time. But I encourage anybody out there that wants to participate in a chili cook-off you can email me and I'll make sure that you get the information, gloria@cnews.net. And we have charities, we have schools, we have religious organizations, all that participate. I think we've had Beth on before. We've had St. Sophia's. Anyway, we're looking for more churches, and St. Stephen's, I think, maybe did it once, or St. Thomas, can't remember. A lot of Catholic and Episcopalians out there. So, but Junior Orange Bowl has so many things coming up, and their parade is, by the way, anybody that has kids that need community service hours or even adults that want to come and work with their kids, the Junior Orange Bowl parade is December 12th, and they need volunteers.
That's only 3 weeks away.
I know it. I can't believe it. It's also, for everybody in Doral, it's the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is breaking my heart because I sing in the choir, and I don't know what I'm going to do because that's my favorite holiday that our church does.
So you sing in the choir, all right? It's your church. You're involved in how many nonprofits? 4?
Safe Haven, Junior Orange Bowl.
Shout out to Safe Haven. What's the gentleman's name?
Oh my God, Nick Silverio,
Nick.
Safe Haven for Newborns.
Yes.
He has saved so many babies from abandonment, and they have a hotline 24/7. The guy has never ever taken a salary. They have a very minimal staff, and they just finished their online auction. They opted not to do the gala one more time, just because of COVID, concerns. But hopefully next year they'll continue that. But they also do a golf tournament, and you can go to asafehaven.org.
And so one of the things he was known for was that he put together the plan, if I got it right, where you can take your baby to the hospital, police station, fire station without getting arrested.
Exactly. So he was instrumental in that. And then it started out kind of locally, but it's grown. It's all over the state. And now he has other states wanting to replicate it. And I wish I had the numbers, but Nick will be back. We'll have a show with him on again, and he'll update us on how many babies.
He was very appreciative, and he made sure that I heard him loud and clear several times. So our pleasure to be able to do that.
Yeah. So and then another great organization that you've had on before, United Home Care with Carlos Martinez, and that's a nonprofit.
I remember that interview like it was yesterday. It was so emotional. I want to think it was between March and June of 2020. All right.
Maybe.
All right. Both of us, we're all experiencing COVID. Getting pretty well beat up.
Yeah.
I remember the question that I asked him, and I said, it must be such an enormous responsibility to keep your staff safe, and you're going to people's homes, right?
Yeah.
And to keep the patients safe.
Yeah.
And when you think about how people and what people did in order to protect themselves and the family, I think overall we did pretty good down there.
Yeah, it was pretty extraordinary how we did in South Florida, and to think that we're one of the most recovered places in the United States economically. That's pretty impressive. So we have 5 minutes left.
Is that what the sign just said?
That's what the sign said. So
was that Junior with the sign?
Yeah. Hey,
Way
Junior.
to go. All right, Junior.
Shout out to Junior
first,
and
first
Andreas for
here.
producing our show. Oh, it's your birthday today? Happy birthday. Yeah. Junior's new with us. He's just learning. He's
a
learning
student
the
in Miami
ropes.
Dade, going to go to FIU. We have Andres back there, who's NYU graduate, going to go to graduate school. I mean, yes, he's going to go to graduate school sometime in the next 7 or 8 months. One day he's going to go, all right, see you in a couple of weeks.
How many people have you offered their first job to through community newspapers? This is a whole nother side of the
there was
a
newspaper.
Gentleman,
a writer who was here. His parents are very appreciative, and he got a job with a national organization. I think it was straight out here. Every time I see him, they thank me. I said, "We didn't do anything. Your son did it. Well, you gave him the opportunity." And so your point is, I think, give people an opportunity, because that one, we should do that too. That might be the thing that helps somebody jump forward.
Well, it's kind of like, our Pinecrest Tribune. We have that feature with the students, the positive people in Pinecrest, and the kids use that for their college resumes. Yes. And then the columns that I do, when I have kids in them, they throw it in their stuff.
Lady
too.
comes in, she says, "Michael, I just finished graduate school. This is such, I was a positive person." I go, "Really?" I was in 6th grade.
Oh my goodness.
So there it is, a dozen more than that.
Yeah.
15 years later, I think.
Yeah.
And so people remember that, all right?
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
we're happy to do that.
Yeah. So, but that's one of the joys I have of working here, is that I can share my work and the things I love that I'm passionate about with the community, and inspire them to go out and volunteer and hopefully join me.
Right.
So,
and Gloria, you are getting better every day. You are.
Thanks. We're working on it. Yeah, this time I remembered to turn off my phone.
Yeah, at least
the last 2 shows I had
was.
it on. Yeah, at least I knew where it was.
Are you going to take us out of here?
Yeah. So anyway, our time is up, and as always, good time. Again, don't forget Sarah Brightman next Saturday, the 27th. On South Florida PBS. Look for that Christmas concert.
And say hi to George Gonzalez.
And hi, George Gonzalez. Where are you?
There, he's written up there. And George was one of the. I said, "George, is there a connection between the manatee and the size of the guys?" "Yeah, Michael, you could be a manatee too."
Yeah, perfect. So that's your backup.
Yeah.
If anything happens to the paper, you got your backup. Okay. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me today.
My
and
pleasure,
for stepping in. And South Florida PBS, thank you for sponsoring our show. And we'll be watching Sarah Brightman over, hopefully it's televised nationally and I can watch it because I'll be in Chicago.
She's very inspirational.
Yeah.
And thank you,
for
PBS,
sure.
for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.